This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. Once again, I would just like to wish all the nurses a very happy Nursing Week. It's Nursing Week from May the 12th until May the 18th. So if you know a nurse, please thank them because, you know, I'm telling you, I've had heart attacks, I've had surgery, I've had a knee stuff done, and it's always the nurses who take care of you, and they take darn good care of you. So from everyone here at Relmar to all the nurses around the world, happy Nursing Week, and thank you for everything you do. Exonation, my guest this hour is Dr. Bruce Davis. We're going to be talking to Dr. Bruce about his book entitled The Love Letters. The Love Letters, St. Francis and St. Clare of Assisi meet Pope Francis. Now, as the world watches with curiosity and admiration as Pope Francis tries to turn around the Catholic Church, one might wonder what the beloved St. Francis of Assisi and St. Clare might have thought of his Herculean efforts. That's a good question. After all, they were among the first to call for a simple, unembellished church that teaches the love of all things, cares for the sick, the poor, while touching the heart of joy in all. And that's precisely what our guest this hour, Dr. Bruce Davis, wondered, which is how he came to write the beautiful, moving, and charming book, The Love Letters, St. Francis and St. Clare of Assisi Meet Pope Francis. Joining me now from California is Dr. Bruce Davis. And Dr. Bruce, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on a wonderful book.
Thanks, Rob. It's good to meet you, and it's good to talk.
Dr. Bruce, what was your inspiration for writing your book?
Well, I just spent 12 years living in Assisi, Italy,
Wow.
which is a very special place in the heart of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hometown of St. Francis of Assisi. And so while we were living in Assisi, we ran a retreat center there, and the simplicity of St. Francis and the peace of Assisi, and people from all the world would come and be with us in this retreat center. And then suddenly, a year ago, we have a pope who takes on the name of St. Francis of Assisi. And so we were really excited and that, wow, what are the possibilities? I mean, we never imagined there would be such a pope. What if this pope was teaching everybody to become instruments of peace and healing? That would be really different for the church.
Well,
so that's how the whole thing got started.
Well, I must admit that Pope Francis is certainly putting the Catholic Church on its heels, turning a lot of heads, spinning a lot of people in every direction. I've had the opportunity of speaking to members of his protective service staff, and he is one heck of a security challenge, but this is who he is. He is the Pope of the people. And, when was it? 2 weeks ago, he called up a lady in Argentina and spoke to her because she couldn't get any answers from anyone else about divorce. And he said, you can go and take communion. It's okay for a pope to do this. Like this is, my God, this man is truly changing the Catholic Church. And a quick question before we go to commercial. Is this in your opinion, sir, what St. Francis of Assisi would have done himself if he would have been made Pope?
Yeah, he was so humble. He did not even call himself a brother. He said, we're brothers minor. He never became a deacon. He never became a priest. So for the Pope to take on this heart of St. Francis, that's a big move. And really, they're opposites. Francis was not interested in power, was not interested in possessions. He was only interested in opening his heart to nature and everyone. So it's a big step.
It's a big step, but St. Francis lived in a different time than Pope Francis is, and I think Pope Francis took the power to make the changes that are so necessary and to bring the Catholic Church up to the 20th century. So I think that, I guess when you make a comparison of St. Francis of Assisi back then to Pope Francis of 2014, there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah, the church back then, at the time of St. Francis, was much worse than the church now. It was all about power and politics. The rich people would have seats, the poor people would stand in the back. And St. Francis brought back the spirit of the real church, and I think Pope Francis is trying to do the same.
Doctor, please stand by. You and I have to take our first commercial break. X-Zone Nation, our very special guest this hour is Dr. Bruce Davis. He's the author of The Love Letters. St. Francis and St. Clare of Assisi meet Pope Francis. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, and the good doctor and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes as we continue around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our vast and growing family of broadcast affiliates and satellite providing programmers from our broadcast center. We're right here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Coming to you from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, this is the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, on the XZBN network. Our guest this hour is Dr. Bruce Davis. He's the author of The Love Letters, St. Francis and St. Clare of Assisi Meet Pope Francis. And his website is www.thesilentstay.com. Maybe for our listeners around the world who may not have an idea of Catholicism, who was St. Francis, besides being a lover of nature, all creatures, and the poor?
Oh, it's a good question. He was a very special person, because what happened in the 12th century, the church was becoming, more about politics and power and rules, and it was a place for the rich, and the normal people and the poor people were left out. And so St. Francis came from a wealthy family, but he realized that there is much more to life than accumulating wealth. And so he went outside the city walls of Assisi, and he was sitting up on the top of the mountain nearby, and he found an incredible peace inside. And so he started talking about peace and about loving each other. And one day he was walking by a leper, and in those days you would not look at a leper, you would keep walking. And he turned around and looked at the leper and realized this man's a human being. And he went up to the leper and hugged him and kissed him. And so that was the spirit of Francis, coming back to nature, coming back to people, coming back to the heart. And so he lifted the church back into the original church. And that's what's so interesting about having a Pope Francis. He's doing the same today. It's not about rules and judging people. It's about people. It's about our hearts. Yeah. It's about being open and loving. And so it's very fascinating to be living in this time in a new spirit of St. Francis.
I think that this is what people have been yearning for so long, was to see the church being returned to the people in the way that they believed the church should have been acting, instead of collecting wealth, collecting power, helping and serving the people.
Exactly. And one pope can't do it, but he can turn the ship a little bit, and then it's going to take all of us of all religions to restore the spirit, the true spirit of religion. And that is, how can I become an instrument to helping and serving, and not how can I get my own advantage and make people follow my own rules and do what I want them to do. Yeah. It's a question of, am I going to serve, or do I want to be served? And that's what the Pope is talking about all the time.
I have so much faith in the human race. I believe that one person can make a difference, and I believe, as you just said, that Pope Francis is starting to turn that ship, and I believe it's going to have the avalanche effect, and it's going to just bring so much more to the people.
I agree with you totally, and the reason why we wrote the book is because most people are watching the Pope and wondering, is he conservative, is he liberal, is he going to change the church and all these things, but they don't understand the real inspiration behind the Pope is St. Francis of Assisi. So it's not really about politics. Yeah. It's about a spirit of heart and bringing the heart back in the church and having humility and washing the feet of prisoners, washing the feet of old people and crippled people. It's a whole new attitude of church.
Plus, by him, I believe he even washed the feet of a Muslim, and in my opinion, this was him saying, listen, we're all part of the same religion. It just has different names and different concepts, but the religion is the same. We're all brothers and sisters. Yeah.
Exactly. Assisi, Italy is the only place in the world where all the religious leaders have agreed to meet. So for the last several popes, there's been these big meetings in Assisi where all the religions come together. Now, this pope, calling himself Pope Francis, he's living that spirit. He has Jewish friends and Muslim friends, And he's saying exactly what you just said.